Every damn day. Hello, everyone. It's Sherry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today on the show, we've got our new friend Ingrid, and we are going to talk about being an orthodontist, being able, or a venture-backed orthodontist, and changing how orthodontics work by Uberizing it. So I'm excited to hear about this. But before that, how you doing today?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Where are you at?
I'm in LA.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my daughter moved out there in August, and she works at Cedar Sinai.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best. I came from New York and it's like just beautiful 24/7. So happy to be here.
Is it still hot? I think you guys were going through a hot spell last week, right?
Yeah, there's no such thing for me. It gets hotter and hotter, and I'm like, this is perfect. Keep it hot.
Yeah. So are you from New York originally? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in New Orleans. My family's from El Salvador. I grew up in New Orleans. Went to school in Nashville, Tennessee. Spent the past 10 years in New York. So I feel like a New Yorker. And now I've been in LA for 2 years.
Yeah. And being an orthodontist, that's a lot of schooling.
It's a lot of schooling. It's 11 years of higher education to become an orthodontist.
That's I've always I know a lot of people that got into dentistry that I went to school with, and they kept on, and 10 years later they're still in school.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
so tell us something about Nashville or New York or New Orleans or El Salvador or anything you want, kind of on the personal side before we jump into the business side.
Yeah, totally. I think the most interesting was probably my background, which is my parents grew up in El Salvador. We are half Salvadoran, half Palestinian. Left Catholic Palestine in the 1920s when the English came in, and basically like that whole segment of the population went to Central and South America. So I come from two of the most dangerous countries in the world.
Yeah, I've
Number
spent a
one.
lot of time in the Middle East and know a lot of Jordanians who are Palestinian too.
Yeah.
And that I'm in solidarity with Palestine. I'll just say that. I think they get screwed over quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy things happening in the world. El Salvador recently, there's a lot of things happening with like the president and the gangs there, and like trying to make it a less dangerous country. But it's I would check out the president's Twitter. He's very interesting.
Yeah, I've followed him because I'm a big crypto enthusiast and developer, so
Yeah.
I'm really interested about the Bitcoin experiment.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are like, oh, maybe it's a good place to buy property. And like, trust me, if you are not Salvadoran, you will be a target there. It is not a safe place, even though it's like, pro crypto and everything. It's just I didn't make the move quite yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't make the move. I don't think either. We're going to be more pro crypto here anyway.
Yeah.
So, are you a El Salvadorian citizen?
No, I'm not. I was born here. My parents moved here in their 20s. So, born and raised, but I used to go back like a couple times a year, but now I haven't been back for a while.
Because all the citizens got Bitcoin wallets and got a deposit.
I was one of the lucky ones, but all my family did.
Yeah. So, how does growing up, or not growing up, but being from those two kind of violent cultures, there's probably tons of poverty. Well, I know there are in both countries. How does that drive you to be an orthodontist?
Yeah, I think specifically becoming an orthodontist, there wasn't a direct association, but there's definitely a bottom layer of like nothing comes easy. There's like a foundation of like, we're very lucky to be in the United States. Being born anywhere else, especially in El Salvador or any third world country, you just don't get the privileges you get here. So I think that definitely from like, the day I like remember, like my very first memories, my parents came here, learned English, put themselves through med school, like fully American dream, had 5 girls, healthy, no one's homeless yet. And like it definitely emphasized like my whole life, like you got to work hard and like take advantage of the life that the cards that you're given.
Yeah. So you said the American dream. Do you feel like you're living the American dream?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't deserve it. I was born into it. I didn't have to work for it and leave a different country, which I think is like the most incredible and aspirational thing. But 100%, like I think I got the chance to become an orthodontist, which is amazing. And now I run a company to help orthodontists build better, more modern practices of the future. So I would say fully, yeah, 100%.
Do you still practice?
No, I don't.
Did you for a while?
Yeah, I practiced for 2 years in New York, and I basically realized that like the world of orthodontics is crazy right now, with 1 in 2 people in the world wanting to straighten their teeth, and no one really knowing who to turn to. Everyone thinking like, oh, clear aligners, you don't need an orthodontist, you can straighten your teeth in the mail. I was practicing and I was seeing those patients. I was seeing them come in being like, I've been wearing aligners for years. Like, why aren't my teeth moving? We'd take x-rays and I'd see like their underlying bone and all the damage that was happening. And I was like, if I'm seeing this in my small office in New York, this must be happening all over the world. And lo and behold, it was the truth. We started seeing mail order aligner companies IPOing left and right over the past 5 years. All these companies that don't use orthodontists. And so fundamentally, they were hurting people because there's been a lot of really kind of beautiful and amazing marketing around like 6 month smiles or less. And that's when I said, okay, I can't practice on a one-on-one basis anymore. I've got to figure out a way to help orthodontists give people what they're looking for: affordable, seamless, convenient, digital, great customer experience. The orthodontic practice of the past is just like, it's antiquated. People don't want it anymore. So that's when in 2019 I decided to stop practicing.
So you got into the life of starting a startup, huh? How's that journey been?
Oh man, it's been crazy. It's been crazy because the whole being in school, there's a path. There's like, you take your chemistry and then you take biology, then you take physics, then you take the exam, then you get in, then you get into residency. And it's like, it's a very clear path of how to get somewhere. Entrepreneurship is the complete opposite. Like, I knew I needed to figure out what it took to raise money from venture capitalists. And then the money hit the bank, and I was like, oh, wow, now what? Now do I focus on the finances or the product or the brand or the team? It's like, it's this kind of crazy hodgepodge of like, the world is your oyster, and you got to figure out how to prioritize and what to delegate and what to do yourself. So it's been a nutty journey, but it's been like the most incredible journey ever.
How did you raise your first money? Was it like friends and family? Did you win a pitch competition?
I love the term friends and family. I come from New Orleans, where like there's no such thing as like friends and family, just like being able to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, I definitely did not have that network. I figured out how to like get in front of health tech investors. So I think it started with like learning about what it took to fundraise. So like, how do I build a deck? How do I build a financial model? How do I position myself in the space? How do I give a 60-second pitch, a 20-second pitch, a one-liner pitch? And then starting to network. And like my whole network was like orthodontists and dentists. So I didn't really have that. And so I just started Googling like health tech conferences in New York, started going, and just like randomly introducing myself to people. And I was like, hey, I want to start a company. Like, I've got this idea. I've got the deck. I've got like whatever. Like, do you know any investors? Eventually it worked. And I met this one guy, Derek Flansreich, who was the founder of this company called Greatest at the time. And he introduced me to my lead investor, John Eumenides from Lake House, who then gave us our very first venture capital check. And that was all it took really to have like proof to then raise the next checks and be able to have enough money to actually like build this thing initially. So yeah, it was just like straight up hustle.
Yeah, I come from a background in poverty, U.S. poverty. I guess I should, because it is extremely different. That friends and family weren't really available to me either. But my son was watching me once trying to raise money, working on my pitch deck, and he had a $5 bill, and he said, "Here, Dad, I've got $5 for you," and I still have that $5 bill in my one of my wallets, I guess I'll
Wow,
say.
I love that.
So he was my first and only investor from friends and family.
That's so cool.
Except for you bring your whole family into it, though, right? I don't know if you're have a partner or whatever, but once you're an entrepreneur, everybody's an entrepreneur.
The full journey.
Yeah.
The full family.
So did you do anything entrepreneurial before, like when you were young, or watch your parents because they're probably super entrepreneurial?
My parents are like definitely my biggest inspiration. Like I'm like, if someone can move to a country, learn English, not have friends and family to like support you, and especially now that I have friends that are starting to have kids, I realize like, oh wow, your support network and your family is everything once you start to like have your own family. So I saw my parents go through that, and I saw them like put themselves through med school. My mom had me young; she had me at 23. And then like start practices and like just figure everything out. Like they just became my heroes. So I kind of always had like this like you can always figure things out mentality. But in terms of like starting something myself, no, I always had ideas. Like I always like, I'm an Enneagram type 7. I don't know if you're an Enneagram person, but I'm very much like an ideas person. But I honestly didn't really have the time to like execute on them. I was full time like learning, like trying to get the A, like didn't, really have time to like start side businesses. But then as soon as I had a little bit of capacity in New York, I was practicing 6 days a week. And I started to learn about how to build a business from like podcasts and books. And so I'd be like on the subway on my way to practicing, lunch, listening to my podcasts, like after work. And that's how I really got started.
Did you work for an orthodontist when you were practicing?
Yeah.
Or start your own? Okay.
Yeah.
So but that's a whole business in itself, right? Being the I guess the person that starts the practice.
Oh yeah.
So it's not just showing up for a job, because you've got to do all those things, right?
Oh yeah. Running a practice is like a crazy hard business. It is like, because you're the like you are the person doing the service. And then you're also doing like the business side. You're doing like the accounting, the hiring, the inventory management, the insurance. Like it is such a tough job. Like I have so much respect for everyone who runs a practice.
And so what would you say? I'm going to use some terms that I'm assuming you are familiar with. Like, what's your value proposition for the orthodontist?
Yeah, it is to start the modern orthodontic practice of the future that patients are looking for, and that makes your life easier for free. Orthodontists are the number one in-debt specialist in the country of any other medical, dental, vet. Orthodontists are somewhere between $800,000 and $1 million in student debt. And so not only has it been harder than ever before to then start your own brick and mortar practice, which generally speaking requires another $500,000 loan. Then you have all this debt. You've never learned how to start a business before. You have to learn how to hire, fire, inventory, compliance, legal, taxes, everything, and then charge a price that patients want. When mail order aligner companies are telling patients that they don't need an orthodontist anymore. So patients are going out and they're seeing $88 or less per month is Never Smile, or your prices, which as an orthodontist, I was charging $12,000 in the Lower East Side. I was charging $18,000 in the Upper West Side. Like for a good orthodontist who specializes in Invisalign, you're paying $10,000 plus. So I realized like it doesn't make any sense to pass on your overhead to those patients. So the value proposition is give patients what they're looking for at a price that they can afford and the experience that they deserve while you make their practice.
And so you cut down some of that overhead cost for them by shared services or something like that?
Exactly. We take care of overhead. Our practice model is on a platform. So you run it entirely for free. So we take a margin on a per patient basis, where the orthodontist also takes a margin on a per patient basis. We take care of all the costs. We take care of the Invisalign costs. We rent space from dental offices. We send all the supplies, and because we have like a couple of offices, we can aggregate our costs, and then we give them this seamless digital platform where patients have a really good experience, really good scheduling, payment plans. We have partnerships with a firm to get them the prices that they're looking for, 36 months, interest free. And so it's giving patients what they're looking for, like great seamless text reminders, virtual care, so that they only have to come in very infrequently. Our patients see their orthodontist on average 7 to 8 times, as opposed to every single month. And so we've really kind of aggregated all the costs and incorporated the digital tools to give patients and orthodontists what they need.
See, I'm glad you said Invisalign because I didn't know if you were trying to stay away from company names or anything like that. Uh, but because I wanted to tell you that my daughter had a great experience with Invisalign, but she had an orthodontist that she worked with,
Yeah,
and I couldn't imagine her going through that by just receiving the things in the mail.
yeah.
And so I'm glad you said that because that is an effective way, but it can be damaging if you don't have the right guidance. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so happy you brought that up. I'll clarify that. So there are 10,000 orthodontists in the country. There are 200,000 general dentists in the country. That same ratio exists all over the world. Invisalign as a product can be used, all it is, it's a clear aligner tool. This product can be used by anyone with a DDS degree, so anyone who is a dentist. So I'm a dentist before I'm an orthodontist, went to 4 years of dental school, and then 3 years of orthodontics residency training. You don't learn how to move teeth until you get into orthodontic residency. And so basically everyone else who is offering Invisalign, who is not an orthodontist, is being told that they can be an orthodontist. Now, this is actually okay for very simple cases. Like if you have a little bit of tooth movement that needs to move. The problem is that orthodontics is insanely complicated. So even if you think like I have this little bit of tooth movement, you got to really take into consideration your bite. How does moving your teeth affect your bite? And so what ends up happening, and what a lot of, back when I was practicing, when I was seeing, it wasn't just the mail order liner companies that were damaging patients. It was people who were getting treated by Invisalign, not by an orthodontist. Because what ended up happening is their teeth were moving in a certain direction and it messed up their bite. So suddenly they couldn't bite on their back teeth. They were putting all their pressure on their front teeth when they were biting. They were fracturing their front teeth. They were having TMJ issues. They were having headache issues because it's all interconnected. And so it's kind of just like health tech gone wrong. It's marketing and branding gone wrong. It's this product that is a very complicated medical procedure that you want an orthodontist for no matter what. I would never tell someone you're a simple enough case that you can straighten your teeth in the mail, or not being seen by a specialist, because it's such a delicate thing. And so a lot of the patients that I was seeing were like 3 times, like it was their 3rd time trying to pursue treatment. And basically now we had to like overcorrect because so much damage has been done. So see an orthodontist.
You just made
That's
me
my
mad at my childhood dentist. He tried to use spacers because we couldn't afford braces, and I had a kind of overbite, and so he used spacers, I guess it
yeah.
was called, or that's what we called it. And I still don't have a bite right. I can dislocate my jaw really easy once in a while if I get, run into something.
Well, I will say it's not dentist's fault. We actually
Yeah.
at our company is called Two Front. We collaborate with dentists. Here's the problem: is that there's 2 issues. There's a lack of regulations. Like if you look in the medical system, there's neurologists aren't allowed to do heart surgery. Like your neurologist is never going to do your open heart surgery. It's very clear. But there's a lack of regulations in the dental space where your general dentist can do your orthodontics. It's legal. And not only is it legal, it's being pushed on you from a $50 billion company called Invisalign that you can actually be an orthodontist too. So if it's legal and this incredible company is telling you you can do it, then why wouldn't you do it? And it's only when it's too late and you realize, like, what's happening? Why am I not getting results? That you realize, a lot of dentists realize, like, maybe I shouldn't be treating this kind of case. And so it's really like, I really emphasize it is not their fault. Like, we are trying to collaborate with dentists. And so what our business model is we help orthodontists build a virtual first practice by leveraging space from local dental offices. So with our model, one orthodontist, instead of actually opening up a brick and mortar clinic, they actually see patients from the dental office once a month. So one orthodontist can actually serve 20 local dental offices near them and give all these patients this seamless, incredible, digital, affordable, convenient experience where all in-person visits happen from their dentist. And so dentists are now empowered to offer their patients what they're looking for instead of having to do it themselves.
Well, you're not only Uberizing them, you're also got a WeWork model in there as well, right?
Yeah,
A shared space.
Uber and Airbnb, somewhere between those two.
This is awesome. I love this idea. Do you think that you have, does this come from a lot of empathy for the people that are coming out with those hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and not seeing a clear path?
Oh yeah, I am that person, you
Uh-huh.
know? Like I was in residency. I had just spent my whole life, I decided to become an orthodontist when I was 8. And I got into residency in 2015 after working my tail off my whole life. And that's the year that the first mail order liner company launched. And I was looking around at all my co-residents and I was like, here we are, like massively in debt. And like we're being told that we're not needed anymore. And we're sitting here just like still working, 14-hour days, learning how to move teeth, learning how to create beautiful smiles. But no one's addressing the elephant in the room, which is that we're so in debt. There's no jobs. People don't know that they need us anymore. And we're competing against this giant, with beautiful marketing and an incredible customer experience. And so, yes, I'm always torn on our mission because it really is to empower people to live their best lives by having the most beautiful smile that empowers their soul to shine. But it's also to reestablish the I know I always mess up this word, meritocracy. However you say that word, where the American dream is actually real and you can work your way up to being a specialist and building and running your own business and delivering on what you're looking to deliver in your business model.
Do you, this might be a touchy subject, but I'm bringing it up anyways. With the student debt being canceled for some people, I doubt it's for orthodontists. I doubt they qualify, especially if they have a practice or a job. Does that make you frustrated?
It does, because we're such a small segment of the population. We are 12,000 people in the United States, but we're the most in-depth specialist. And so there's no kind of like representation. People don't realize how in-debt orthodontists are and how much they're struggling. Orthodontists are paying $5,000 to $7,000 a month of student loans, and they're actually not able to start brick and mortar practices anymore. A lot of them, and they're failing and they're struggling and they have massive overhead and they're depressed and they're struggling so much with mental health because of this position that they're in. And so I do get really, really frustrated because it's not that I don't want someone else's student loans to be forgiven. I'm super thankful about that. I think student loans are just like an atrocity, but it's like, what about these people? Like, let's look beyond. Let's look at the specialist who isn't able to start a practice anymore and is being told that they're going to die in debt.
See, I feel like 100% of the people should have all of their student loans forgiven, and I paid mine off, and I'm done with it. But I don't. It doesn't make me upset if we did everybody. I
Yeah,
think it's the
100%.
fair thing to do.
I totally agree. No one should be in this much debt.
So you've got I think, well, on the orthodontist side, you have to recruit them and get them to join your platform. But do you also have a double-sided market where you're trying to recruit patients for them as well?
So we're a B2B to C marketplace. So what
Okay.
that means is we recruit orthodontists to run their practice on the TrueFront platform, and then we match them with dental offices near them. And so we just raised our seed rounds. We've raised about $5 million in total. We're just in LA, but this year we're looking to expand nationally and really kind of match these dentists and these orthodontists nationwide. And then we treat the patients of the dental offices. So the patients who we partner with of the dental offices get to benefit. They're getting expert-led care, seamless, convenient, exactly what they're looking for. And so ideally, we partner with every dental office all over the world eventually, where we can actually reinvent the way that people are straightening their teeth.
Mm. I'd love more and more about this model as I hear more and more about it. How many, if you don't mind, how many clients do you have right now? Are you scaling or are you
So
just
we're
onboarding?
on scaling just yet. We have 10 dental offices in LA
Mhm.
with 6 orthodontists. So a couple of those orthodontists serve multiple of our offices. Right now, we're just focusing for the next 2 months on really creating a seamless digital experience,
Mhm.
and it's really an education forward one. As I'm sure you can imagine, a lot of people don't know how this works. And so what we're really focusing on is how do we deliver this information around what orthodontics is with Invisalign, why you need an orthodontist, how it serves you beyond aesthetics, how you need it for a healthy bite and for preventative oral care. How do we do this in a very kind of bite-sized, easily digestible way within dental offices before we start to scale? Because when we can educate the patients at dental offices, that's when we serve both dentists and orthodontists, along with the patient, of course.
So there's people out there saying, okay, a straight smile, that's not the biggest problem in the world. Why do we have to help people in that space? Kind of looking at the client with the not straight teeth, let's say. What yeah, there is that the aesthetic, the beauty, the what did you say? Their soul shine. I love that phrase. What but there's a lot of health issues that go with this too, right? That
Yeah,
um
exactly. Invisalign has been seen as this tool to straighten your teeth, which in itself I think is a beautiful thing. If you can become a more confident person by smiling more and giving someone the gift of a smile, that's a beautiful thing. But what people don't realize is that what orthodontics is fundamentally, it's preventative oral health care. By straightening your teeth and having a healthy bite, it has been shown that you can save $20,000 to $30,000 in dental work over the course of your lifetime because you're preventing fractures of your teeth, crowns, bridges, gum grafts, bone graft, all these things where like on WebMD, we kind of know about preventative healthcare, right? We're like, take
mhm.
your vitamins, wear sunscreen, all these different things. No one really talks about preventative oral healthcare besides like fluoride, right? Orthodontics is preventative oral health care. And so that's what we're really trying to communicate, like in terms of like keep your natural teeth, save all this money down the line by just knowing that straight teeth and a healthy bite will save you all this work down the line. That's what we're really trying to educate patients on.
Yeah. So what do you want us to do now? Should we go to your website? Should we start promoting orthodontists and preventative dental care? What would you like us to do?
Yeah. Yeah, would love for, I mean, anyone who has a question, like email me, Ingrid at my2front.com. You can follow us on Instagram at my2front. Our website is www.my2front.com.
Is
And you
it the
can,
number two, right?
totally spelled out.
Oh, my two front.
Yeah, as in my two front teeth.
hmm I didn't get it at first, but I do get it now. And then Ingrid at my2front.com, right?
Yep, that's my email. And then my Instagram is at Dr. Ingrid Murra, INGRID MURRA.
That's your Instagram,
Yep,
your personal one.
yep.
Will you say it again, though? I'm sorry.
No worries. It's Dr. Ingrid Murra.
Thank you. All right. So they've got non-straight teeth or something right now. Maybe it's their child. Maybe it's them. How old are you too old to where you shouldn't worry about your teeth then?
No such thing. We have patients as young as 7. If you have teeth, we can straighten your teeth. So as young as 7, and we've treated I think an 86-year-old. If you have natural teeth, we can straighten them for you. We can fix your bite.
Have you ever seen that first smile from someone when they realized their teeth just got straightened and that soul started to shine?
Oh yeah, that's why we do this. It's the best thing ever.
So, what should somebody do? Start researching. If let's say their child, they wanna figure out how to do this right. What's the best thing they could do?
Find out who the best orthodontist is in your neighborhood and go to an orthodontist who specializes in Invisalign. That's what I would say. We as orthodontists can now treat all typical braces cases with Invisalign. A lot of us can. A lot of the orthodontists who are newer, graduating, who have been basically taught how to use Invisalign to straighten teeth, all the most complicated cases, taking teeth out, surgery cases, we can do that with Invisalign now. And so I would look for an orthodontist who specializes in Invisalign so that you don't have to go through braces.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great advice. And thank you so very much for coming on the show. I love this idea. I really want to try to find your pitch deck or something and look at how you're positioning this, because this is super awesome. I think this is a great idea and helps a lot of people in the supply chain, I guess you could say.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, everyone. That's a wrap on Every Damn Day. And I will see you tomorrow, and have a great day. And thank you so very much for coming on the show and sharing your journey with us.
Thanks for having me.